And so some great racing that just happened. Latvia did so well last weekend, and they're in the run. The men, they've been doing well. The women, they're still on the podium, I believe. I need to check what the final times were with the women's race. But I want to talk about kind of one of the biggest stories of this weekend is the weather. So just to put into context, so last week was about -10. Today is about 4 degrees. I just had to check 40 degrees Fahrenheit, 4 degrees Celsius. And that changes everything. Show you right now, we have one of our sled makers right here. Not our sled makers, our ice makers. And what he's doing right now is he's filling in the grooves. So what happens is when these sleds get on the ice, they actually create small grooves in the ice. And so it kind of, and if it's warm enough, it can actually get down to concrete, which is when it's really bad, but we're not that warm. So right now he's putting in slush, filling back in the grooves and hoping that it will refreeze and give a little bit more fresh ice. Now last week, to put in perspective, I don't think there were grooves at all because it was just so cold and the ice was so hard. So this is a big part of these races, is this ice prep and to get this ice ready. So, and what that means, so you're like, okay, why does that really matter? Why it matters is because it feels completely different driving the track. Your drives are a lot more responsive. Your drives, like for instance, if you're going down, like if you were to give the same pressure steer on cold ice versus hard ice, on cold ice versus soft ice, the soft ice is going to respond way better. So he's filling in there the spike marks. So right as soon as they pull off, they get to the ice as soon as possible and they dig into the ice to help them pull. So yeah, it's kind of interesting how the weather plays a part in all of this. And so I was just talking to Toby, the doubles teams that are from the Germany team. He was saying, he's like, the frost is just growing from the ice, which just makes it slower. So also this matters depending on which draw you have, so the bib number you have. There's a systematic way on how they give out their bibs. Within the beginning of the run, it's the opposite of the qualifying run, and then at the end of the run with the A seed, it's a random draw. So like if I was to race and I had, they call it DFL, dead effing last. If I had a DFL draw, then I would get the worst ice, because right now they're spritzing it, they're making it fast, but if I'm the last one to pull off, then I'm gonna get the slowest ice, which can really change a lot of things. So the ice, they're trying to manicure it, make it a little better. But you can even see there, I don't know if you can see on camera, but he's laying the fresh ice. It looks like fresh water, and then the rest of the ice looks cloudy. That is frost. And that also, we could talk so much about setups, like if you want a higher angle into the ice, what steels you're going to use, if you want, it changes everything. So you're checking ice conditions, you're checking weather, especially when you're an athlete, because you're trying to prepare. And one thing, what I used to do when I was competing is I used to come to the track and I used to scratch the ice. So like when I would scratch the ice, it kind of mimicked like my steels into the ice, like how sharp they would be. And like if I'm able to like grab ice, then I know it's really soft, and I know that, okay, the track's going to be really forgiving today, and I probably just like need to be aware about that. But if the ice is really hard, you won't scratch anything, and then that's when, for me, I'd get a little scared, because I thought, okay, this is going to be really fast. So anyways, I could talk more about this, but we actually have someone really cool that I want to interview. I asked him, let me get his attention really quick. Tony, yes.